Hi Rick, thanks for sending us your video of brands. It looks bloody awful.
I just want to do a very quick and brief video about some of the things that I find really helpful on my bike and help me improve, and basically just share them with you guys. If anybody else benefits from them, that's great. Obviously, you talk with people in the paddock, don't you, and wherever you go, and I just say the same things. There's simple things that help me to ride on track and help me improve, and generally most people come back and go, Rick, you're a wanker, or they go, thanks, Rick. That was actually really helpful. I reached out to that guy, or I tried that product, and it was really beneficial. So obviously, winter time, just find some way to just share information and help other people if you can. So the first one, I think there's three things I want to cover, and I'm going to do just three short videos because one of them's mega short, just self-explanatory, and the other one's about bike setup, and this one is about sort of rider improvement. And so basically the best way, or a very good way to improve, is twofold. Seat time, just like any sport, practice. The more seat time you get, the better you're going to get at any sport in general. The second thing is, I'm making it threefold now because I'm literally making it up as I go along. Second thing is being on track with faster riders. Like any sport, if you can compete or play or practice with better competitors or sports people or enthusiasts, you improve. So if you're on your bike, you think you're getting into a corner really quick, and you're like, yeah, I'm on it here, and then somebody in your group comes past you, or flies past you, or edges past you, you're like, potentially there's a bit more I can do in that corner. Especially if they come barreling past you, then you're like, yeah, there's a lot here. And so that's mega. Like when I started racing, doing endurance, and we had BSB riders on the track with us and all this, and some people are like, oh, that's really unfair, I don't want to race against them. And I'm like, this is a great opportunity to be on track with some amazing riders and some fast riders. And, if one of those guys comes past you, you know about it, they're going some. And, it just gives you belief in your tyres and your bike. And, if you can hold on to them for one corner or something like that, that's really going to help you. And so the third thing that is pretty beneficial, I feel, is coaching. And there's a difference, right, between coaching and getting some advice or tips from your mates. Just the same as any sport. Like, I've played competitive sports all my life, as lots of us have, and you learn that there's a lot of advice, isn't there, or tips out there, and you got to take some of them with a pinch of salt. Some of them won't work for you, some of them will work for you, and you've just got to learn to filter through all that. But that's just like tips and advice from your peer group, or somebody you bump into that might be a bit better pace or whatever. But then you get coaching, right? And coaching is from somebody who's a coach, and these guys are generally good, right? They're generally phenomenal. They've taken time to learn about the sport and the nuances of it, and there's certainly a lot of good rider coaches out there, but one in particular I go back to time and time again is a guy called Mike Edwards. Google Mike the Spike Edwards and you'll see he's a very accomplished racer. He's ridden and raced against people like Cal Crutchlow and James Hoseland. He looks like he's 800 years old, but he's probably not that old. And he's a really cool guy, really calm, really patient, really open-minded. But the thing he does, which is why I go to him above most other coaches, is the long distance or distance coaching. And this is such a cool tool. It's an absolute weapon. What you can do, tee him up. So you contact Mike through his Facebook or his page. I'll try and put a list to his website in the description below. You can go on track. So tee him up. So contact him and go, hi, my name's this. I'm going to do a track day next week at this track anywhere in the world. And would you be able to give me some distance coaching? Now, if everything aligns and you can make it happen, you'll go to the circuit with your camera on board and then do the first session. Probably not worth videoing that because normally the first session you're just getting up to speed, and then video the second session. And once you finish that second session, send him the file. He will then get that file. Normally it's a 20-minute file and he's got to download it, you've got to upload it. He'll watch that file and then he will find in that file the most consistent lap and then he will go over that for you. And then he'll turn that round and, if everything works in your favour and all things being equal, generally he'll get that back to you for just after lunch. So potentially you could have a watch of that before your first session after lunch. So then that gives you something to work on after lunch, and he might give you 2 or 3 tips of what to work on, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, depends on what's going on, and you can work on them in each session. But what's really killer about the distance coaching with Mike is you can use that video again, right? It's specifically for you. So we all have habits, don't we? So you can go to that track day 3 or 4 times and just refer to that video, because typically we do, as I said, with the habits, you do make the same mistakes. So it will just point you where to look at and where to work on. And then maybe if you improve, which I reckon you will with coaching, and especially with Mike's coaching, in a year's time or 6 months or 3 months, you can do that same track again and resend the video to Mike and he can go, cool, you've improved, maybe try and work on this and that. And the better and better you get, the less and less tips you get. But 90% of the time when I've got these videos, it's exactly the same thing. And what I've built up over the years is a coaching video specific to me for each track I go to. So if, say, my next race is at Alton Park, I can literally, the night before or the week before, start watching that video, and it's mega because it's your bike, it's your lines, and the tips are coming in there. And then I might make a couple of little notes to simplify it for myself, so when I'm on track and when your mind's focusing on braking, accelerating, staying on the bike, not crashing, avoiding other riders, it's only 1 or 2 points I have to work on at a time, but I can work through that video all day. And so I've just got a little clip that Mike did for me at the last round at Brands Hatch. Unfortunately, as you probably garnered from the little opening shot I did, it was piss wet. And so that's always a tricky one to coach in, because it's just not the same. But I say that, but there's still things on there that are similar to the lines you normally ride, and little pointers that they can still carry over into the dry. And the cost, because cost is, it's a part of everything, and we all know this sport's expensive.
Not at the tipping point itself, but easing the sort of the curve to the tipping point. If you started to ease in there, you naturally start to come out the brake a little bit, because you don't want the thing folding up. It does.
But compared to coaching schools and on-track coaching, the cost is, a tenth or whatever. It's significantly less. And what I find with the coaching on the day, which obviously it's definitely got its benefits, following someone, as I said at the beginning, can really pull you along, really show your line. So there's definitely good value in that. But it's really, really tiring, because I'm used to 20-minute session, get off the bike, put on the warmers, fuel it, hopefully don't forget to do that, and just sit there for 40 minutes scratching your nuts. But you're chilling out, aren't you? When you're doing on-track coaching, you come in and it's straight into analysis of your riding. What do you do here? What happened there? What happened there? And we're talking about bikes, right? And you're paying for the time. And the coaches are generally all really nice guys. So you spend 40 minutes talking about your riding and interrogating yourself, and then you get back on your bike, and obviously it's just tiring, right? It's a really, really tough day having a day's on-track coaching, but that it's a brilliant tool, and absolutely having as many tools in your tool belt, so to speak, will help you go quicker. But this distance coaching, it's excellent value for money, and it's a really great way of improving your riding and being able to use it again and again and again, because you just download it to your laptop, take it with you to track, or your phone, however you work. So that's basically all this video is today. So I'm going to show you a little clip of some of the coaching tips that Mike's given me. He's not a YouTube sensation who's like, yeah, look at this, whoa, he's a coach, and he's like, okay, need to look here and here, look at this line, look at that line, and that's what it is. It's really good.
This is where we are now, obviously. Now, you actually put the throttle on, I'm guessing, but it's probably about there. So from where we are now to here, this part of the track is kind of dead. We're just allowing the bike to turn, and all that time that's happening is on a closed throttle. We're losing speed, and losing time. So if you